right, today we are sneak peeking into our program. The wonderful thing about our sneak peek is that we do give you some tips that you can actually take home with you and kind of apply them to what you're trying to do in your business and in the opportunities that you see in front of you right now with COVID-19. This is the best opportunity, to be honest with you, to start and start growing a current business, to start a business and start growing a current business. This is the best time to do that. And a lot of people say, well, lenders are not, as open as they used to be. Yeah, that's true. But there are lenders who are actually open to more opportunities because other lenders are not open to any. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So I just want to encourage you to just stay the course. Stay the course. Just don't listen to some of the news. Listen to part of it and just find a strategy. And that's what we're here for, to provide that strategy. So we're going to get right into it. Business Credit for You program. This program was written and created by me, Tyra Jones. And the reason why I decided that we shouldn't white label another company is because we can't do exactly what we need to do for our clients by white labeling another company. We did our own research and we made sure that we understood how to do business with Dun & Bradstreet, how to set up corporation. Of course, we've been doing that for 15 years, but more importantly, how to fund them, even though maybe the revenue is kind of tight or non-existent. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So thank you again for being here. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the 8 steps to properly structure business credit and board development and grant training. Now, basically today, this is what you're going to learn about the 8 steps to properly structure business credit. Now, I know some of you are in the process of structuring your business altogether. So, you may think that you're not ready for a business credit program or business credit talk, but this is a prime time for you to do that. And I'm going to show you why it is. So when you're initially structuring your business, this is the perfect time. All right. So you may ask yourself, why should I establish business credit? In many ways, business credit is like personal credit. I know all of us are familiar with personal credit and the struggles that we may have from time to time with personal credit. So just like you need a strong personal credit to buy a house, get a loan, or apply for a credit card, having a strong business credit file may improve your company's chances of qualifying for business loans or receiving lower interest rates, and especially what we specialize in at JA Consulting, cash flow management. Okay, so a few benefits of business credit are: the first one, future funding needs. When you're initially setting up your LLC, deciding whether you want to be an LLC, S Corp, or whatever type of for-profit or even nonprofit entity, the first thing you need to think about is your structure and how to set it up to properly fund your business. Everyone who sets up a corporation, your goal is not to not make money, right? Your goal is not to bring in revenue or bring in donations if you're a nonprofit, or bring in any type of funding. The goal is to bring in funding. Well, we want to make sure that you are able to bring in that funding, because your structure has everything to do with how or whether you actually get funded. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that, but that's one of the benefits of establishing business credit. Acquisition of municipal or federal contracts. Now, I've talked to so many people over the last 30 days about, matter of fact, even last month, about acquisition of municipal or federal contracts. If you want to know how to get started, how to become attractive to those vendors, those suppliers, those prime contractors who can hire you as a subcontractor, having your business credit structured properly would benefit you totally. It would make you look really, really, really attractive to those federal or municipal contracts. Also, equipment purchases, whether it's computers, software, whether you're in construction, whether it's those equipment that you need to buy from Lowe's, Home Depot, or Deere. All of those companies report to Dun & Brad. And there's a structure, there's a way that you can purchase those items and save on your cash flow, but not if you don't have business credit. All right, so we'll talk about that. Real estate purchases. I have a number of clients right now who are using business credit to build so that they can have a blanket of funding available for however many properties that they want to go after. So real estate purchases are also a benefit. And of course, you're going to hear this a lot, cash flow management, right? We need to manage our cash flow, and that's why we specialize in it, because sometimes, like in the times that we are in now, we need to retain as much cash as we possibly can. We need to stay as liquid as we possibly can. Business credit will allow you to do that if it's structured properly. Okay? All right, let's go. All right, how your business credit report is used. Now, these are some of the ways that different entities use your business credit report. Lenders will help determine approval and terms of financing. Suppliers and shipping companies. If you are working with or supplier or want to work with a supplier and or a shipping company, when they look at your business credit, they decide whether a grant or deferral of payment for goods and services is necessary, or if they want to approve you for that. Okay. Customers may look at your business credit to determine if your company is a legal entity at all and reputable. Insurance companies, they may look at your business credit report to help determine the price of your insurance policies. And procurement, which are those municipal and federal contracts, help evaluate your ability to execute government contracts. Now, the amazing thing is, if you're looking to, and with contracts, if you're looking to acquire your first contract, having business credit is the best type of way, one of the best type of ways to be attractive. The other, of course, is to be certified as a disadvantaged business, MBE or WBE, but I'm not going to mention that today, but just to give you that information, that's how you become attractive. Can we have someone to mute themselves? Okay, thank you very much. All right, establishing business credit. Now, this is what you should have, and this is what you should do. All right, you should have an LLC, S corp, nonprofit, corporation, etc. You should have employer ID number. You should have a DUNS number. You should have business credit profile. You should, now I'm gonna stop there. Just because you have a DUNS number does not mean you have a business credit profile. What I mean by having a business credit profile, if you have not initiated doing business with Dun & Brad, you don't have a business credit profile, all right? So most of the times when clients come to us, even if they say, yes, I have a credit card, I have a business credit card and it has my business name on it, you still may not have a profile, okay? The difference with business credit and personal credit, business credit has to be established by you. If it's not established by you, then you must, pay someone to establish it for you. Dun & Brad is a privately owned company, which means that you have to pay them in order to get a profile, okay? So they're not, this company where, oh, we're just gonna give you this because you asked for it type company, okay? They're a pay-to-play company. And so we work hand in hand to make sure that your profile is established. Now, once it's established, you want to make sure you have businesses and lenders who report to your credit information. Now, the great thing about our business credit program is that our participants, they get a list of businesses and vendors who report to their business credit. And we make sure that they have trade lines or trade references that also report to the business credit reporting agencies. Okay, so not everybody does it. There are about 500,000 companies in the United States who can report. There are only 7,000 who actually report to Dun & Brad. Okay, so we make sure that you are doing business with those 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of those 7,000 businesses that actually report. All right, so what you should do, get a copy of your EIN if you don't have one already, and keep it in a safe place. Verify whether you already have one with Dun & Brad. By this I mean verify if you already have a DUNS number with Dun & Brad. Sometimes just because you're doing business with a certain type of company, sometimes Dun & Brad will automatically send you a Dun & Brad number. Okay, and some people say, oh, I just got it out in the mail, I don't know what to do with it, so I just put it to the side. Well, I'm here to tell you what to do with it. And what that means is that the company that reported your transaction is an active participant with Dun & Brad. So that's why the file was created. The last thing, ask lenders and suppliers and consultants to report information about you. Self-report financial and credit data as feasible. All right, including us. We're a company that reports to Dun & Brad on behalf of our clients, and that also assists with the increase of their credit score. So that's a little FYI. All right, so I did talk about the 8 steps that I was going to share with you today. So here's step 1. Establish your business credibility. Now, this is the most important part of your business credit structure. Without these 6 items, it's like building a house on water. You know, I think I've seen people build houses on, you know, especially if they're living by the water and they build those sticks or whatever. But just imagine if they didn't have the sticks. You try to build a house on water. That's what business credit is without these 6 credibility items in your business. Now, the first thing, number 1, corporation filing, EIN and DUNS number. That may seem very simple, but it's not really as simple as just filing, going down to the Secretary of State and filing for your corporation. Depending upon the type of business that you are about to engage in, depends on the structure that you need to set up. In order to understand the structure you need to set up, you either need to be talking with a consultant who is focused on financial structuring or an attorney. Okay, so don't assume that just, oh, I can just go and pay the Secretary of State for an LLC. Make sure that you get the proper advice, because if you want to properly fund your business, you need to get the proper advice on corporation filing. Okay, number 2, commercial address. Now, a lot of people, you know, they have PO boxes if they're doing virtual business, right? But to be honest with you, PO boxes are a red flag in the business credit world. PO boxes are the last thing you want to have. Okay, you can use it, you can have it and use it, but do not put it on an application to qualify yourself for a line of credit for any company. All right, commercial phone number, right? You must have a commercial phone. A lot of us use our cell phones as our business phone line, but if it's not labeled or listed as a commercial line, you must make sure that it is, because it will be red flagged if it's not a commercial line or labeled as a commercial line. All right, business email. The business email cannot be I'm in business at gmail.com. Okay, and I said I'm in business because I just was making up a business name, right? I'm in business at gmail.com, right? Do not use Gmail, do not use Yahoo, do not use any of those types of emails. You want to purchase a domain, which is the number 5. You want to purchase a domain, and you want your email address to reflect that particular domain. For example, my email address is tyra@jonescorporatesolutions.net, And our website is jonescorporatesolutions.net. Okay. You want to make sure you have a domain. You want to make sure you have a website. Even if you don't plan on doing a lot of marketing, I talk to a lot of people all the time, and I ask them and say, do you have a website? And they say, well, I really don't plan on doing any marketing on any social media, so I really don't need a website. Yes, you do. If you plan on getting any funds anytime soon, you definitely need a website. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. It just really needs to identify the basic services or the basic activities that you are performing within your business. Okay. Number 6, business bank account at least 4 months old, right? So you have to have that. Now, this part is for when you are trying to actually qualify for lending. It needs to be 4 months old. But in the beginning, yes, set up your business bank account with your business name. Make sure that the name and the address is the same as the name and the address on your corporation and on your taxes when you get ready to file them, right? Now, here's step 2. We just went over step 1. Here's step 2. Have a business plan. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about a business plan. Everybody knows what a business plan is. Most people have very elaborate business plans with all the pro forma information, spreadsheets, projections, everything like that. That's great, but you need to make sure at least that you have one, or you're in the process of doing one. When I first got started in business, I wrote my business plan. It was literally on a typing sheet of paper, and I just wrote it down. I was like, I just got tired of thinking about it, and it just kept coming up. I was like, what is this idea coming from? It's like, I don't even want to do it. I didn't want to do it at the time. So I just wrote it down so I can just get it out of my head. But what I ended up doing, I went back to it and I created an outline so that I can identify, okay, these are my services. This is what I want to do. This is my mission. This is my vision. This is what, these are potential challenges that I may have. These are the equipment or supplies that I need. So just make sure that you are in the process of doing that. So like I said, we're not going to belabor the moment with that, but you definitely need to make sure that you have one. And at long term, and maybe not too long term, if you're enrolled in our business credit program, you will need at least a 1-pager or 1 or 2-pager business proposal for some type of lending. Not all, but some. All right. Now, step 3, we help you establish trade lines with your suppliers, right? So we help you go after Shell, Amazon, all of these companies that you see here, and then more to make sure that they are trade references on your business credit, and make sure they are reporting, right? We make sure they are connected, and we make sure that they're positively reporting. If they're not positively reporting, we follow up with you so that we can figure things out. The wonderful thing about business credit is that you can make edits to whatever it is that you need to make edits to. If your business address is incorrect, we go in and we make sure that it's updated. If your email address has changed, we make sure that we go in and update it, because we don't want to apply on your behalf to one of these companies and not get approved because something hasn't been updated. And I promise you that happens more times than not. All right. So we help you establish trade lines with your suppliers. Now, the question is, can you do this yourself? Of course, you can do it yourself. However, establishing trade lines and trade references sometimes require some type of support in making sure that, okay, if this company is going to offer me credit, what are my terms? And for this part, for net 30 vendors, net 30 vendors are vendors who will give you an extended amount of time, like for instance, 30 days, right, to pay the bill in full after you have purchased products, okay? Net 30 accounts allow you to buy now and pay later. That's basically what their purpose is. Now, these are great companies to put on your business credit trade reference profile. But they also have net 10s, net 20s, net 30s, net 60s. right? The net 90s, they have a lot of those companies that have different timelines for you to make the payment. Now, one best practice in business credit, and really just in credit in general, is to make sure that you pay the bill before the time is up. So if it's a net 30 company, you want to make sure that you pay the bill before the 30 days so that we can have a positive reporting so your score can continue to go up, right? Now here on the side, we have a little information. This is kind of a side note about NAV. Now, we put that here because we want to make sure that you understand who NAV is and who NAV is not. NAV is not a business credit program. They may issue you, if you have an account with NAV, and they advertise very heavily about business credit and also personal, because they're a company where you can house the monitoring of your personal credit as well as your business credit in one space, which is beautiful, by the way. I mean, it's beautiful that they have that. However, just don't mistaken a business credit program with NAV, okay? NAV gives you a lot of different tips, a lot of different information, but they're not gonna go in and do anything for you, okay? So I just wanna make that statement because I've talked to a lot of people who have talked about NAV, when they're asked a question about, hey, have you ever thought about establishing business credit? Oh, well, I have NAV. That doesn't mean anything to me. Or, anyone in my profession who understands business credit. All that means is that you have a monitoring system to monitor, right? So you don't really have anyone to go in and actually fix anything in your business credit profile. All right. So I just want to make sure that we understand that. And then also take a look at this scale. Business credit is rated on the scale of 0 to 100, right? So like our personal credit score is on a scale of 300 to 850, right? A good credit score in business credit is an 80, which is the equivalent of a 720 or an 800 in personal, okay? So I just want to give you that foundation as far as understanding business credit, just in case you did not know that. But what we do, and when we initially set up your business credit, once we are able to put enough trade lines to accumulate a score, your score starts at 80. So if you are in, or someone who have participated in other programs where that has not happened, then you definitely need to make sure that they have the right information, because that sort of thing should automatically happen if you're structuring it properly. Okay, but like I said, going back to that name, email address, commercial email, commercial address, those things are highly important, and that may have a lot to do with a score being lower than an 80. All right. Let's see. All right. Now, steps 4 through 7. Steps 4 through 7 have everything to do with managing your business credit history, right? So business credit is a track record of a business financial responsibility that companies, investors, or financial institutions or financial organizations use to determine whether that business is a good candidate to lend money or do business with, okay? So what we do here at JA, we help you manage your credit history, right? We make sure that everything is accurate. If there is something that you don't want on your business credit profile, there are ways to not have it on your business credit profile, because like I said before, business credit is not the same as personal. You put things on your business credit. Creditors don't put them on there just automatically. You have to put them on there, but also you can take them off as well. Now, if there's some negative on there, and let's say that you ask the company to put themselves at the trade line, and then all of a sudden you defaulted, you're just going to have to take care of that. Okay. So, but what we want to encourage is learning how to structure, as opposed to kind of going back and trying to fix something that you messed up because of a bad habit, of paying late or something like that. But we want to make sure that we manage your credit history in your business credit profile, because in the future, I guarantee you, I don't care what type of business you're in. I would bet you $100 today that you are going to buy property. I guarantee you. You're going to want to either lease a space. I see some hands up. You're going to want to lease a space. And to be honest with you, in our world, you can lease a space, but the programs for purchasing property are so much better with terms. So I just wanted to share that and just drop that, because with your business credit history, I know at some point you're going to want to have to, or you're going to want to purchase property. In purchasing property, it has everything to do with your business credit history. So we want to maintain that. Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to think, and I want you to send me, this is your participation at this point. So you've heard a lot of things that I've said, heard a lot of things that I've shared about our eight steps. We left off on 7, actually, right? So in the next year, and I want you to put this in the chat, right? So if you can find the chat, you just click on one of the settings and then click on chat. And I want you to put your response to these questions here. In the next year, how do you think having a healthy business credit report could help your business? Right? Okay, that's the question. That's the first question. So I want you to put the answer in the chat. In the next year, how do you think having a healthy business credit report could help your business? I want you to answer that. Okay. Secure more funding to expand. Great, great. Hire more people. Exactly. Purchase a property and expand workforce. Yes, indeed. Yes, ma'am. Increase cash flow. Absolutely, Chantel. Absolutely. Expanding. Absolutely. Growth. Absolutely. Everybody's answer is actually related, to be honest with you. Growth, increased cash flow, purchase of property, all of that has everything. Employ and improve according to the time. Yes, absolutely. Development, growth, freedom. Oh man, yes. I'm gonna show you about some freedom in a few minutes, Dion. All right. So thank you for participating with that. So yeah. So our next question is, what about the next 5 years? Now I want you to think to yourself about that. What about the next 5 years? Because it's probably going to look like the goals that you already submitted today, right? Already. So the next part is, okay, now let's talk about your goals, and let's talk about your habits, and let's talk about your strategy. And the reason why those 3 items are there, when you think about your goals, what you guys just shared with me have a lot to do with the goals that you have, right? But we cannot focus on a goal until we address the habits that we have. When you look at what's not right in your business life, what's, the type of thinking that's not right, the type of activity that's not right. Maybe you're not doing something that you should be doing, or maybe you're doing something that you should not be doing, or maybe you're about to do something the same way you did it last time and expecting something different to happen this time, right? So we have to look at our habits, because if we don't look at our habits, after we establish our goals, the strategy is going to be null and void. The strategy is not going to work. So we have to address habits, whether they're positive or negative, especially if they're negative, so that we can kind of tweak them a little bit to understand what a real strategy looks like in your business. And a lot of times that has to do with education. That has to do with opening your mind. That has to do with getting rid of that cognitive dissonance that some of us have. Oh, I'm used to doing it this way, so I'm gonna do it this way again, but not understanding that you're gonna get the same result as you got before, or you're trying to do something new with an old mindset, okay? So we wanna make sure that, we're on a different level, but we have to input some new knowledge into our system in order to create the strategy that we wanna have for our business, right? So the next thing, why do I need to pay for your business credit program? Now, I put this in here because I want to address some thoughts, because I wanted to make sure that we cover everything. So why should you pay for our program? Why shouldn't you go and get someone who has better marketing? Their website looks a lot better. Their website looks is a lot more easy, user friendly rather, right? Or maybe they're more attractive. I want to work. You know how we are. I'm be honest with you. You see a guy. Oh, he looks nice. He looks like he's professional enough to work on my business credit, right? So why would you pay for a service with JA Consulting? Okay, now here's what you get. In our program, you will learn how lenders evaluate your credit worthiness, how to build your business credit history, how to read your business credit report, and how to keep your entity structured to ensure approvals. Now, we're well aware of our competitors here at JA. We know our competitors. We know about their program. We know the difference in ours and theirs. And I can honestly say that none of those programs have those 4 components. None of those programs have all 4 of those components, especially teaching you how to read your business credit report, especially that. When we started our business credit program 3 years ago, we didn't start it 3 years ago. We started it in our office 3 years ago. It was virtual before, then we started in the office, now it's virtual again. Okay, when we had it in the office face to face 3 years ago, we were showing people how to understand and read their business credit report. Did you know that there are 14 different scores in your business credit report? And we were teaching people how to read every last one, because every last one combines into an algorithm to give you your paydex score, which is on a scale of 0 to 100, right? Now, also in our program, this is what we would do in our program. Build a portfolio valued at a desired dollar amount. And we say desired dollar amount because it's based on your thinking. It's based on the limits that you give yourself. If you want to build a business credit portfolio that has a value of $250,000, we can do that for you. If you want to build a portfolio that's about $500,000 worth, we can do that as well. If you want to go to $1 million, we can do that as well. It's based on where you are in your mind, right? So we also partner with other professionals to make sure that sometimes, depending on what business you're in, to make sure that has a combination of contracts, municipal and federal contract, as well as real estate assets. So we do that combination as well. We also will add trade references that will increase your business credit scores. Now, anyone can add trade references. Earlier I said, now why would you can do some of these things yourself. But what we've learned through ever since 2013, that's when we started our business credit program. We've learned over the years which companies placed on your trade line would actually increase your score. We've also learned which companies that will give you a bigger line of credit that would increase your score. So those are some of our trade secrets, because we learned that by doing. We learned that by the sweat equity. So that's what we provide in our business credit program. Another thing we provide is we design a procurement strategy to obtaining contracts. We make sure that you're registered as a vendor with the city, as a vendor with a district, or even with federal contracts. We make sure you have SAM's registration. Whatever registrations you need or certifications that you need to have for procurement, we make sure that you have that, and not only that you're listed on a number of registries that would attract you to the funding, to the contracts. So we would design a procurement strategy to obtain these contracts that you're trying to get, right? And the last thing that we do, we use our lenders to fund your portfolio. We have 7 different lenders that we've been working with over the last 2 years, and we've developed great relationships with them because most lenders, they do not care about business credit. They don't. Some of the lenders that we work with didn't care about it until we had to build that rapport and build that relationship to say, okay, if I bring you a client, I want it on their business credit. I don't want it on their personal. And we had to go through some hurdles. We had to go through, well, it'll be on their personal. And I said, okay, we're going to move it though. I need you to move it. We learned how to move finances, move mortgages, move loans from your personal credit to your business by the relationships that we have with our lenders. So with that being said, that's what we will do. And that's what the difference is with us and anyone else that you may find that may say, oh, well, we'll offer you business credit. We'll get you a credit card for $20,000. I promise you, you can do that yourself. Honestly, you can. We can do that as well. Now, we also focus on all of these items as well. Okay, so just don't get confused when you start seeing, or you may have already seen companies that are out there that say, we can get you $10,000, $20,000, and that's great. If you are a client, and I see some of our clients are on here, if you're our client, you already know in our agreement, in our consulting agreement for business credit, we guarantee $50,000 off the bat, right out the gate. We guarantee $50,000. The reason why we can do that is because we've already evaluated you before you became a client and was assured that you would be able to get that. Now that's the minimum. We're not stopping there because our goal is strategy. Everything we do at JA Consulting and Corporate Tax Solutions is about strategy. It's about the long game. It's not about the short game. Okay. So with that being said, this is, if you want to screenshot this particular slide, definitely do so. Feel free, but this is what you will learn in our program. And also, this is what we do for you in our program. All right. Now, here are the general best practices for strong business credit, right? Establish good habits. Like I said before, establish good habits of paying your loans, bills, and taxes on time. Make sure your business is visible. Social medias. We just finished writing a grant for LLCs or S Corps where the social media accounts were required. You had to have engagement. You have to have social media accounts. And that was for LLCs. All right. So I just want to drop that nugget. Make sure your business is visible. You don't have to, have the purpose of, oh, I don't want to advertise. Oh, I'm not ready to advertise. Can you just create the account and just engage with a few people, right? Oh, from time to time, there may be something that you can post to engage people to your page. Maintain good relationships with suppliers and vendors. Separate personal and business with a strategy. Now, here's something that we pride ourselves, honestly, in helping people to separate their personal and their business. Not necessarily separate, but create a strategy for your personal and business. We've been working on teaching people how to pay their children through their business, and also pay tuition using their business credit. No more student loans. No more student loans. Pay tuition through their business credit. So I won't go into that because that's another trade secret that we have. So also the last thing is monitoring. Hold on, let me move my video. Monitor your personal and business credit histories. And we talked about that a lot earlier, all right? So how vendors evaluate your credit worthiness. Vendors, okay, going back to what I was talking about, the commercial address, commercial email, and all of those things, those are called non-traditional data, okay, or data sets, okay, to be for my grammar to be proper in that sentence. What is non-traditional data? Non-traditional data is your personal information. For example, If it's a personal credit report example, it's your utilities, phone, telephone service, rental data. Now, if it's your business information, it is online business reviews, okay? Shipment volume, e-commerce trade, and merchant account transactions. Sometimes, they may ask for these items for funding, especially the last part, merchant account transactions, when you're applying for an MCA loan. Those are non-traditional pieces of data that may be asked for your business. For example, also, there's this, I can't remember the name of the company. It's a transportation company where you can actually lease their vans. So like, let's say that you're a company, you need a van to operate your business. Well, this company actually has vans that they lease to business owners. They have an application where you can fill out, and they ask for your business information. And it's very strategic in how companies like this, they have their applications, because they're not asking for any financials. They're asking for basic information, because guess what they're doing? They're looking you up on Dun & Brad to see who you are and what your credibility is. If you put a Gmail on that application, it's not going to be approved. If you put a P.O. box on that application, it's not going to be approved, okay? Those are non-traditional pieces of data that will guarantee to get you a not approved if you do not have that properly structured, right? So we have a funding engine. As I mentioned before, we work with 7 different lenders who will report on your business, okay? Now, business funding, and we also have business funding for any type of business. We have lines of credit, and we have property purchase. We do a lot of real estate lending. So just wanted to give you that. Now, to recap, 8 steps to properly setting up your business credit. Now, these are the 8 steps that I just went over. The first one was corporate conformity. Structure all your commercial accounts. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to mention, because I know someone on here who is focused on structuring different entities and how to do that, and how to make sure that, if I have an entity here, what entity should go here, what entity, if I want to buy multiple businesses, just make sure that corporate conformity is accurate. So we actually help you, and what we call that is asset protection. Right? So we have an asset protection service where we make sure that if you have multiple entities, that all the entities are structured properly and they meet all of these steps of properly setting up business credit for each of those entities. Okay, I just want to give that side note, because I know he's on here. Get a business plan written. And we mentioned that. The third step is set up your business credit profile. Now, let's talk about these tiers. Tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 are part of the 8 steps. Now, on another slide, I just said 4 through 7. 4 through 7 are the tiers, okay? So I want to reference that and give you that information. Now, business credit is rated based on, well, your steps are rated based on the tiers. When you first get your business credit profile, you are a tier 1. You're not ready for, $100,000 of funding. You're not ready. A tier 2, trade accounts that lend, that's when you get those trade accounts that lend to established profiles. At that point, that's when we are putting the Shell, the Amazon, the Uline, the Granger. We're putting all of the Net 30s and the other companies on your business credit profile at tier 2. Okay, now that tier 2 takes a little while, because those companies have to confirm the accounts. So most of the time we're waiting on the other companies to confirm. So all we can do is all we can do, right? So at a tier 2, that's where you are. You're not ready for funding, right? But you're about to be ready for an 80 paydex score, okay? So after tier 2, when those companies actually confirm your accounts, and we have at least 3 that have confirmed, then a score is generated, and typically that score is an 80 paydex score, which is exactly what you want to be, to get started in positioning yourself for funding, right? So at tier 3, you're at an 80, right? Now we have trade accounts up to $5,000. Now, I have here trade accounts up to $5,000 because now we're talking about credit. We're talking about actual credit that you can use anywhere, like American Express, like your local credit union, right? Now I say up to 5,000, but I know for a fact that I have clients that have gotten credit cards up to $20,000. Okay, at a tier 3, Okay. Now remember, just because you have a credit card that's about 10 or 20 or $30,000 doesn't mean that you're at a tier 3. You're at a tier 3 if you have at least 3 of those trade references confirmed on your business credit profile. Okay, they have to have it. They have to be confirmed. But sometimes, you may be able to get the 10, 20, or $30,000 card or a line of credit before you even reach the tier 3 mark. So, and that's great. That's great because that means your business can flow while we're in the process of waiting for the companies to confirm. But I just wanted to give that side note because some people are in that kind of limbo state where we're waiting on the company to confirm. And then we, on our end of JA, we have to call the company and remind them, hey, don't forget about us. We need you to confirm this account, right? So that's where you are at a tier 3. Now, tier 4, at that point, that's when entities are calling you, right? That's where we really start building more than $100,000 portfolio, the $250,000 portfolio. We can start at a tier 4. Once you are at a tier 4, you're going to get mail, you're going to get calls of companies offering you a $150,000 line of credit, $250,000 line of credit, $500,000 line of credit. It has happened. Okay, that's when companies come after you. There are about, now I can't remember my number, but a couple of hundred companies, at least about 200 or 300 companies. They don't advertise, but they always offer. When they see that you're at a tier 4, in between, and maybe even in between the tier 3 and 4, when they see that, they start sending out notices. Hey, you're pre-qualified, And sometimes we throw those away because we don't recognize the company name, but those companies do not advertise, so you won't recognize their names. So the best thing, especially when you're in a program, in our program, we always tell our clients to make sure if you get any mail, if you get any calls from any companies that you don't know who they are and they're offering you things, let us know immediately so that we can give you more insight as to what to say and what to do, or even what your options are, because we don't do anything without your permission. So we'll give you insight. Okay, this is that company. Oh, we're familiar with that company as well. This is that company. This is what they do. These are your options. Okay. So the last thing, which is the number 8 step, business funding, is where we teach strategies to building a $1 million portfolio. Now I know that's kind of sounds like a marketing ploy, but it's actual and it's real. I'm actually with a group, and a couple of those members are on the call right now on the Zoom. We are positioning our businesses to structure a $1 million portfolio in business credit. It is real. We have done, as a company, we have done it before for other people, right? So, but how many times have you done so many things, even like on a job that you were at before? You've done so many wonderful things on that job and you helped a lot of people do a lot of things, but you just failed to do those things for yourself, right? So these things are real, they're actual, and we can actually help people to get there. But we can't help people to get there without training. Because like I said, we got to get rid of those habits. We got to put some new knowledge in your system. which is why we have more of an instructional program within our business credit model, right? All right, so with that being said, let's talk about some next level stuff.
All right.
Right? Some next level. Now we have business credit. Let's say that everybody on here has business credit, right? Now you're starting to think about, wait a minute, if I did that for this LLC, can I buy another LLC and do the same?
All right. Come on, man.
You know, can someone, thank you for agreeing with me, but can someone mute your line?
Yes,
Thank you. But if you did it for one entity, you can do it for another, right? And how many entities do you have, or could you possibly have, to where you can build $500,000? Let's say $500,000. We don't even talk $1 million because sometimes that's over some people's head, right? Let's talk about $500,000 or $250,000. Let's say that you do that, you duplicate that process with another LLC. You duplicate it with an S corp. You duplicate it with, let's say that you have 4 entities that you want to duplicate that with. Now we're talking next level. Now we're talking, okay, you have so many assets. Now we need to talk about putting them in a trust, right? And you becoming the trustee over that trust, because we don't want your name to be totally tied to these particular corporations that have all of this value embedded within it. Okay. Now, also for another step, shelf or age corporations. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of shelf corporations or age corporations, but shelf corporations or corporations, let's say I set up an LLC today, and then I just pay the taxes on it, you know, which is going to be zero because maybe I'm not operating the business. Well, I just keep paying the taxes on it for the next 2 or 3 years. Well, after the second year, your entity is like real estate or like fine wine. It ages, you know, gracefully with time. So after at least 2 years, you have at least about $100,000 in value just within that corporation, and you haven't done anything in that entity other than keep it steady, pay the taxes every year, which is really filing the taxes because you have zero. But let's say that you did a little something and you just pay the taxes. Let's say that it is your entity that you're operating under, and you make sure that you file the taxes, pay whatever taxes that you have, and you have 2 or 3 years under your belt. Let's say that you have 15 years under your belt and you're still not doing anything with the entity. Please don't throw it away. Do not throw the entity away. That is an age or shelf corporation that is so valuable. The business-minded person, the right business-minded person, would actually purchase that from you for thousands of dollars, right? They have corporations or shelf or age corporations that are priced at $10,000 all the way up to a few $100,000. And people will buy these age corporations because if I buy a $10,000 corporation, I'm buying the LLC, I'm buying the entire structure, I'm buying the business credit, I'm buying the positive reflection on the filing of the taxes. I can easily, in about 3 or 4 months, cash that in at about $400,000. I don't even know if you got that part, but basically you took paper that you bought, a piece of paper, LLC, that came with all of these different structures, you know, everything was filed, everything is updated, and you in 3 or 4 months cashed it in at almost $500,000 in cash. That's value. Now let's say that if you have corporations, several corporations that you want to start, and you're like, oh, I don't want to set up too many corporations. Well, I mean, you don't have to, and sometimes you shouldn't. However, let's say that you do, you just happen to do it. There are so many things that you could do with those corporations that can add value. A lot of people don't realize that those corporations are valuable. It's just like, you know, making some wine, putting in the cellar, and just letting it sit there in the cellar, and then, you know, you're not touching it, and then all of a sudden a few years later, or a number of years later for wine, you take it out and you try to sell it or put it on the market, and now you have almost $200,000 bottle of wine, right? That's what age or shelf corporations are. The rating depends on how long you've been in business, the taxes, the financial statements, etc. Offers a large increase in your borrowing power. And yes, we are brokers of shelf and age corporations. So if you want more information about that, definitely email me and I'll give you that information, or set up a call. Set up a call and I'll give you more. So the beauty of credit duplication, like I was saying, you can duplicate, all right? Unlike personal credit, you have the option of setting up multiple credit profiles under different corporations. The potential is to have multiple entities worth at least $1 million each, or let's say $250,000, you know, if you want to work with some numbers that are that are reasonable to some people. I mean, $1 million is reasonable to me, you know, because I've done that for clients. One very good strategy is to purchase a shelf or age corporation. All right. Now, to end this is the last thing that we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you our actual training portal. And I want to get a survey from you guys. I want to get a review on what and how you know, what you think about the information that I shared today. You know, the questions that you may have, the information that you may have written down that you may have questions about. But first, before we do that survey, or I send that survey out to you guys, I want you to take a look. This is our training portal, right? So initially, when you get in our program, you will get a link. And this link, like for example, this client is Malik, right? He got a link and it was sent to his email. Then he has to set up his username, password, okay? The next part on our, and this is our Right Now solution, this is our trademark training program. Everything that every curriculum that we have written for a program is housed under our trademark Right Now solutions. Okay, so that's why you see that logo there. All right, so we have Welcome to JA Consulting and Corporate Tax Solution, and then you click on Let's Go. Once you click on that, if you can see here, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of small, but it lists all the modules in the business credit program right here, right? That's what you would see after entering into our program. And it's self-paced. You have a portal progress thermometer, if you will, and it's right here. It's right here where it says progress on the right side. Now, this is a screenshot of, and there are videos embedded in it for those people who, you know, it's like, oh, I have to do work. There's videos, so you can just watch and take notes and things of that sort. So there's videos that we've done that we've embedded in different parts of the module. So just wanted to give you that sneak peek of what the system looks like, what the modules look like. And like I said, it's self-paced, and you go, you know, basically you and a partner possibly, you know, because it is open to especially if you're an LLP, it is open to your partners. Now, with this, you also get coaching calls. Now, I hope you like my my photo here. After last night's game, I had to put this image on here with Harden because, you know, Houston Rockets kind of disappointed last night. The Lakers blew them out. So I had to put this on here to kind of give it a little, you know, a little funny right here. But our weekly coaching follow-up calls, okay? We follow up with you every week to make sure you're on track. We make sure that you confirm accounts. Like if we need you to confirm, because we can't do everything, it has to go through you for credibility purposes. And strategy implementation, making sure that we're on the same page as far as the strategy and what you're doing now, as opposed to what you may have been doing last week may be different, right? And then of course for Q&A. We also have a grant writing program that's embedded in our Right Now Solutions program, but we're not going to get into that as much. I know a lot of you, specifically, you do have nonprofit entities or will have nonprofit entities, a couple of young ladies on here. That program is an 8-week self-paced training. It is also embedded into the Right Now Solutions portal. It has 8 modules with relevant assignments for you and your board to complete for your organization's funding goals. It also has complete funding agenda with a minimum of 3 grants submitted. So we don't just train; we're doing. You know, your training is doing. It's like, you know, on the job training. Well, that's what we do with our program. So we make sure that everything we do is relevant and more beneficial to the clients so that they come back and refer other people. You know, so we make sure at the end of your 8 weeks that you either have free grants or you're getting ready to submit, depending on the deadlines of the grants. Okay. And then here are the training modules that we have for the grant writing, right? We have corporate structuring, board development, program development, grant research, proposal writing, social media, and grant submissions. Okay. Consulting packages for the Business Credit for You program. Now, this is the price of our program. Our program is $34.50. What you get in that, I already kind of went over what you get and what we do, but the timeline, it takes about 4 to 6 months to establish your strategy, well, actually to implement the actual strategy. Establishment of your business credit profile, that probably only takes about 45 days. After the 45 days, now we're talking about cash money, right? So that whole process takes about 4 months, right? So small business legal plan, we always give our clients information on that to make sure that they're legally protected. We will work with you to ensure your business credit profile structure is properly organized to obtain lines of credit. Minimum of 3 trade accounts. I mentioned that before. Now, if you are like very, very, you know, like you just really want more trade lines, you want a bunch of trade lines, you know exactly why you want them because you heard from somebody else or some other program that you need to have 12 or at least 8 to 12 trade lines to accomplish a goal. And if we find that that would actually, you know, get you your goal, that actually for 12 trade lines, you would add $1,000 to the $34.50. Okay, that's a lot more work, but depending on what your goals are, it may benefit you. And then sometimes some people tell business owners that, and it's not necessary to have 12, depending on what their particular goals are in their business. So, but if that is, we do add $1,000 for that. And like I said before, Dun & Brad is a pay-to-play company. We have to pay them to go in and do anything that we want to do. So we have to make sure that the cost that we're charging you pays for what we need to do with Dun & Brad. Okay, so I just want to give you that as well, reminder. Obtain lines of credit with vendors who report to Dun & Brad and experience minimum $2,000 credit lines. Business credit strategy to build a portfolio up to 1 million, and list of vendors who report to Dun & Brad. We just literally just give you a list. And, you know, we just say, hey, this is a list, but this is who we're going after for you. If you see something on that list, you say, hey, Dr. Jones, I want you to go after this particular company too. Okay, we can do that, right? So that's why we give you the list, because we want to put as much information in your hands so that when you leave our program and you go out there and you talk to people who have experienced, you know, have different experiences with other programs, I want you to feel like you got the best, right? That you got the best experience. All right. So consulting packages for the grant writing program. The consulting packages are $500. All right. Now, right here, I want you to go to your chat, right? I want you to go to your chat and I want you to write either business credit or grant writing. If you're interested in both, put both in the chat right now. Business credit or grant writing. Go ahead to the chat and put that in right now. Dion says both. Okay, good deal, good deal. Both. Wonderful. See, I'm learning information I didn't know, and some people I've already had conversations with, and I didn't know. Okay, good deal. See, that's why it's always great to ask questions. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that information. All right, now, okay, good deal. All right. All right, so now what you need to do is go to our website at jonescorporatesolutions.net. Click on where you see that client portal button, that blue button right there that looks like it's like a, has highlights. Click that and you're going to get what's on the right. You're going to see that particular portal. That is our CRM portal. That's where you can do pretty much anything. You can schedule a call with us. You can make a payment if you need to, but schedule a call first. Don't make a payment. Don't ever make a payment before calling, as if you would do that anyway. But I'm just saying, just in case you get kind of antsy. But or click to call. All right. So with that being said, let me see. We have someone saying something in the chat. All right, we have questions. I was just about to get there. All right, so I'll go ahead. Is there a way to check your transactions with your DUNS number to make sure no one would have gotten access to it and misuse it? Absolutely. Absolutely. There is a way. And the great thing about the program, we go into the actual portal that Dun & Brad establishes you, and we teach you how to manage that profile. So, and we also teach you, okay, when you log into your Dun & Brad account, after we set it up, there are alerts that you get when you see it when you open your account. You have alerts. Sometimes they will alert you and email you, like if someone accessed your account or someone requested, even if they requested your credit report, which is great. And by the way, inquiries are a positive thing on the business credit side. It's negative on the personal, but it's positive on the business credit. But anyway, I digress on that. But yes, there is a way for you to check your transaction. Now, there's also a product that you can actually purchase, and I won't talk about that right now, but I'll talk to you about that individually, Dion, if you're concerned about identity theft. Okay. All right. This was very important. I got to run. Okay. Great. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for attending, and definitely send me any questions that you have, and we're going to keep going because this is the end. This is the end. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, this is the end. All right, so these are your action steps. Schedule an appointment with an analyst or consultant, make a payment, or intake form during the call. Now, I'm going to in the chat, I'm going to send you a survey. So if you can hold on 1 second, I want a survey filled out. I want to know how this experience today was for you. Okay, I want to know. So I just put the link in there. So copy and paste the link. Okay, before we end, I'm gonna belabor the moment right now before we end, but copy and paste it. I truly want your review for the day. Okay. Also, on our website, not on website, if you're on social media or even if you're connected with me, I would definitely appreciate a review on our Facebook page. Okay, but definitely with this survey for this particular presentation, I would definitely appreciate it if you would go ahead and copy and paste that link to our Google form to just give us whatever insight that you want to share with us. I would be more than happy to receive that. Appreciate you guys. And then when you copy and paste and when you have that link, let me know, because then I can go ahead and end the session here today. So type in that you have it when you do it. Awesome possum. Awesome possum. Thank you. All right. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Oh, you have it? Great, Kevin. Get great. All right. All right, guys. All right, so I'm going to end it. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for coming. I hope you learned something. We tried to put some little tips in there that you can use right now in your business, because I just believe that, there are a lot of things that we can share. We don't have to be advertising all the time. There are a lot of different tips that we can share to help people along the way, but I definitely encourage you guys to take more of an inventory of what you want to do and make sure you write it out. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam. I'm so happy you were here. Thank you, Adam. All right. All right, you guys. Well, you have a great rest of your Sunday. And if you want to, set up an appointment or whatever, you want to talk to me about your situation, definitely do that. But I so appreciate you today. And you have a wonderful week.